r/AskReddit. When did a game of hide and seek go horribly wrong? We had just recently moved into our neighborhood and my sister, 5 at the time, was playing hide and seek with a neighbor kid. Long story short, kid couldn't find her. All the adults started going around the neighborhood shouting for her. It was getting dark. After a while my parents called the police. Someone eventually found her, and she said she did hear everyone looking for her, but she was playing hide and seek so she wasn't coming out until someone found her. Parents called the police back and told them not to come. That's how we met most of our neighbors. Edit, since lots of people are asking, she apparently wasn't even hiding well. She told me she was in front of the neighbor's garage, not even in or behind. She is much smarter these days, but still very stubborn. Now see, this is how you play hide and seek. You have to commit. The National Guard showing up just means you are winning. If you ask me, when they started a new round because everyone had been found except me at my birthday party. I was playing sardines at a house party with friends. I eventually found everyone else in the living room eating cake. They all forgot I was playing. I totally forgot about this game until you just reminded me. I remember playing sardines once with my cousins in an old abandoned school. I just lay down in the tall grass and no one found me. Apparently someone else decided they were going to be the it person and the rest gathered with them. They all forgot about me and eventually went back to the house. I thought I would be clever and hide underneath an abandoned vehicle in somebody's yard. It was covered with hornets' nests underneath. I was the first one found, got 63 stings. The duckers chased me for a block, just like in a cartoon. Cloud of bees behind me. For future reference, if you just stand really still the hornets will assume you're a plant or some shit and leave you alone. Is this for real? I once dared a kid $10 that I could take down a hornet's nest without getting stung. I was 7 at the time so didn't have much respect for wildlife. I've changed. I grabbed a rock, took aim, and hit the top part of the nest that was attached to the tree it was hanging from. The top part cracked open and hundreds of wasps came flying out and made a beeline for me. I stood completely still while they swarmed, and after about 10 seconds they moved on to check surrounding plants to see if maybe they destroyed the nest. Easiest $10 I've ever made. What if 1 or 2 of them decide to test sting you and you scream or wince in pain having to let your guard down? Is that when the final credits start rolling down with the doors playing? This is the end. Before I was born my brothers and sisters played a game at my aunt's house down by the river. My eldest brother decided to hang by his fingertips inside the water well. Meanwhile and unknowing of that fact my other brother thought about hiding up inside the little steeple cover of the well, and to get to it needed to slam shut the well cover. Slam. Blood-curdling scream. Splash. Cries for help. Between fits of unadulterated anger interspersed with disbelief and worry my aunt, grandmother, and mom managed to get him pulled up, which wasn't easy because with all of those smashed fingers of his he couldn't hold tight to a rope. That is straight up nightmare fuel. Hey, all's well that ends well. I was a waiter and some kids from a party I was serving played hide and seek, and about 5 minutes later they had to come back because the chef came to cook. Teppanyaki restaurant. There were 2 guardians looking after the children, and one of them realized that a child was missing and freaked out. It was like a mini manhunt in the restaurant. This was all done by the guardians. Since they didn't tell anyone, I just overheard them and decided to watch what they would do. After about 5 to 10 minutes of searching the girl comes out crying. They forgot about me. She was in the bathroom the whole time and she was quiet when they called for her because she thought they were still playing. Why would you play hide and seek in a restaurant? Probably an event where they booked a large section or the whole place, if small. Kids get bored, and parents probably were doing a poor job of keeping them entertained. So they decided to do something. Glad they didn't do something that actually got them hurt, like trying to hide in the kitchen. When I was a kid, my two older brothers would always make me be it. One time they both hid in a trunk full of clothes. I was probably 6 or 7. So I decided to lock them in. Only I didn't have a key. They panicked like crazy and were having trouble breathing. The babysitter was going crazy. I think she broke the lock eventually. But it was some scary moments. Going crazy? Man, I'd be scared as duck to have the parents come home to find 2 of the kids locked in a trunk. She must have been babysitting herself. So when I was a wee kid and a scout, we played hide and seek in the dark. We usually played something like this every time the last 15 minutes. It was a medium-sized cabin, essentially. There was a lot of places to hide, lots of stuff just lying around. For some reason there was a coffin there and nobody, as far as I know, ever hid inside. Because it's a coffin, and that's just creepy. But my smartest hid inside it. Unlucky for me, another guy also looking for a hiding spot saw me. He decided to lock the coffin I was inside of. Yeah, I had claustrophobia for quite a while afterwards. P.S. I have an intense hatred of the name Marcus, because that was the bastard's name. What kind of friends do y'all have? Forget the friends. What kind of scout leader do you have? Why is there a coffin he's allowing kids to hide inside? Why do coffins even have locks on them? Or are they just latches, so the coffin doesn't open up? If tilt over with someone inside. Was playing hide and seek with 2 friends when we were like 10. Me and my friend found a fantastic spot and hid there together, and our other friend couldn't find us. Ended up going home to get his mom so she could tell us to come out and yell at us for hiding too well. Yes, this actually did happen. If I were that kid in that situation and I really couldn't find them whatsoever, and I was all alone, and even after a longer while they didn't come out, I get why he did that. I'd start to feel excluded and would probably get scared that something happened to you too. I'd be so lost that I wouldn't know what else to do other than running home. He probably didn't want you to get yelled at, and the mom was probably just stressed out too cause she thought there might be 2 kids missing. Also, she might have gotten upset about the fact that you left him alone for so long. All depends on for how long he was searching, of course. My grandma was Jewish, and she was playing hide and seek with her brother as kids. She hid well and was very happy, the thrill of excitement from finding the perfect spot. Nobody would find her there. Then, out of nowhere, a group of Nazi soldiers break in the house. My grandma told me this story, and at this point, she starts crying. She told me she couldn't see anything, but she could hear the screams of her own family as they were carried away. Her mother, her father, her brother and her sister were all taken that, and she never saw them again. She was left alone in this world. It had truly traumatized her to this day, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. I was and still am horrified at this story. She was lucky to be alive. Hope you're at peace now, Grandma. Rest in peace. I have to wonder if, being that she was so young, this game of hide and seek might have been how her parents rehearsed hiding the children when the time came. It's easier to get a little kid to commit to a game of hide and seek than it is to get a kid to hide for an actual emergency. When I was about 8 years old, my little brother, who was 6 at the time, and my little sister, who was 3 years old, were playing some type of easy hide and seek in my grandparents' backyard. Well, there are woods behind their house. Our sister, being a defiant toddler, ran into the woods, and my brother just saw her run in and ran in after her. They were in the woods for hours because she ran in so deep, and they both got turned around. Our brother found a hunting post, climbed up it into the tree, and found a way out. They then knocked on doors, covered in dirt and scratched up, until someone answered. A woman gave them a ride back because our brother was able to point out landmarks to get back to our grandmother's house. They got back while my mother was on the phone with the cops. They were discussing a helicopter to find them. We were this close to a search party. They walked a collective 2 to 3 miles. They could have gone miles deeper into rural woods if they didn't keep going one way and find the post. So yeah, watch your damn kids lol. Telling them don't go into the woods does not guarantee they will listen. Edit, I misused Amber Alert, but we were very close to a search party. Also the police were called and still showed up to give the kids a talking to. Nothing was learned and we were repeatedly locked outside on nice days with woods behind our own house. To be honest, your brother was extremely smart. Yeah, maybe he could have went to an adult when he saw his sister head into the woods, but that would take a while and she'd be all alone. And him using the hunting post to find their way out was genius. And going door to door and finally pointing out landmarks so they could be driven back was perfect. I was a member of my university's hide and seek club, and at one point the police were called, however we had proper signage up, so the police warned us to stay out of a part of the building as they were looking for a suspicious person. What neither the police nor we had figured out yet was that we were the suspicious figure that had been reported. A college has a hide and seek club? A college? Yes. And I know of others that do too. It was a really good way to meet people and get in a little bit of exercise. Meet people by hiding from them. Lol. I managed to send an entire store on lockdown and freak out my entire family when I was maybe 5 years old. My family was at Lowe's, and I decided to take my Kirby plushie with me and hide behind some shelves or boxes and see if they could find me. Turns out they couldn't and ran around outside because they thought someone kidnapped me. The entire store went on lockdown for a missing child, all the while I'm sitting, giggling, and waiting for them to find me. I eventually came out of hiding after my mom passed me and got in huge trouble afterwards. I never hid in public again as a kid. Can't be me. I'm not missing. I'm hiding. My 10-year birthday party. My friends and I played hide and seek Caterpillar edition. We put sleeping bags over us and wandered around in the dark to find each other. One of my friends lunges to tag another friend, fell and went top head straight into her face. Knocked out 2 adult teeth and broke her nose. Blood everywhere. She had to go and get surgery. Her parents threatened to sue my parents, but eventually got over it. She was never allowed to come to my house again. Was playing hide and seek by a river while going camping. It was kind of dark out. Went to hide in some bushes near the river. Went to step into the bushes, and it was steep drop off into the river. Got completely soaked above my knees. It took them a while to find me though. That cold vended a hell of a lot worse than soaked legs. Yeah, could have had a soaked crotch and had to deal with everyone laughing and pointing at how you peed yourself. While shopping with my 5-year-old daughter, she ducked into a circular clothing rack, unbeknownst to me. She had been standing right next to me, so I realized quickly she was missing, began freaking out and screaming her name. They locked the store down and began searching everywhere. Only when they began paging her over the loudspeaker and asking other shoppers to be on the lookout did she pop out. Upon being reunited with me she said, "Hi mommy, oh I forgot to tell you I was playing hide and go seek."